It is actually a very tricky one. So that's why I would like to put this video, this loop actually pattern under the advanced VB category. So now what actually subscriber Rupesh wants is that suppose if user enters 9, we are going to give the chance to the user that how many stars basically he wants the max stars, right? So if the stars are, let's say he writes 9, okay, then if he writes 9, then what happens, these stars should come here. As you can see that they are the 9 stars, and then with the difference of 2 it should move upward. So here I have 7 stars, here I have 5 stars, and then here we have 3 and then 1, and similarly it also moves in the downward direction. After 9 we again have 7, and then here we have 5 and then 3 and 1. But not only this, this is one level up. If user enters here 7, let's say he enters 7, then how the loop should look like? Then you got to have here 7 stars. Let's say I'm going to write here 7 stars. Let me copy this. So the maximum, the row which would be on the center, it should consist of 7 stars like this, and then before 7 we should have 5 stars like this. And then obviously before this 5, let me copy this and paste it here as well. So now we have the 5 stars, and then 3 and then 1, and same goes in the downward direction also, right? So you have here star, let me just copy it. So it's gonna be like this, 5 and then 3 and then 1. So this loop looks like this, right? And let's say if he enters 5, then obviously if he enters the 5, then this line, the maximum line, it should go like this. We should have a 5 stars, and then before 5 we should have 3 with the gap of 2, it's reducing, and then here we're gonna have 1, and let me delete this, and let me delete this and this. All right, so this is the kind of the requirement, and let me delete this as well, right? So this is what we need to prepare. So the loop has to be dynamic. That is a challenge. That is the next challenge actually. Okay. Now this can be done, I mean, in a number of ways, but I think what I have actually, I have a little plan I want to share with you. Before I actually start writing the code, I want to give you the idea so that you and me can be on the same page, right? So what I actually am thinking right now is that, you see guys, this is a very important point actually. Now let's say if you write here 9, okay, now if you write here 9, let's say I have written here 9, this is the maximum, going to be the maximum number of stars. So let me just write here maximum number of stars, okay. Now if we have a difference of 2 as per the comment, as per the question, then obviously you would have here 7 and then 5 and then 3 and then 1, okay, and the same numbers would go here, 7 then 5 then 3 and then 1. So what is the important point you need to see? The important point you need to see, first of all, if you count all these numbers, they are going to come exactly 9. So your loop should run 9 times, okay, and because 9 is going to be in the mid, so that means on the upper side it should run 4 times, and on the lower side it should run again 4 times. So what I'm going to do, how I'm going to decide that from which row actually I'm going to print the stars. So first of all, I'll pick up the maximum line. Once I have my maximum line displayed, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to decrement the row number because I want to first go in the upward direction. Okay. Now the first thing, how to identify from which row you need to start. It's very simple actually. It's not actually simple, I mean, but I thought actually I thought about it maybe I think 5 or 10 minutes, and then I concluded that why not to divide this 9 by 2 and then add 1 to it. Now see this, if user enters 9 and I divide it by 2, let's say, what will be the value? It is going to be 4.5. Now I don't need the 0.5 value because it is always, if this number comes as 9, right, and I assume that this is always going to be the odd number, then what we need to do, we need to actually pick up this 4 from here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to use the int function in the VBA. Now if you don't know about the int function, maybe you can go ahead and watch Excel mod function. There is a playlist there, Excel mod function on my channel, and there I have talked about this mod function from the very basic level, and there are one or two videos more which are extremely advanced on the same function. But still, I would tell you that int actually returns the number only. If I select int and I write int and select this P5 and I press enter, you see I would get here 4. Now in the 4 I'm going to add 1, right, because I want to start from the 5th row. So what happens, basically this 4 is going to cover these rows. As you can see, they are the, we have the 4 row above. So if I add 1 to the 4, or maybe if you don't want to do that, maybe you can take the round function, because if you take the round function, this will also give you the next value, in case if you have a value called 0.5, right, because we have a decimal number which is after decimal the number is 5, which is greater than 5. If it is greater than 5 or equals to 5, then it returns the number which is called the next number, the very next number. But I'm just going to use this 4 plus 1 principle, because I have designed the in my mind in this way. So it means that the 5th row, on the 5th row, first of all we will publish this these stars. How many stars? Depending upon this we are going to use it, and then afterwards we are going to move in the upward direction. Okay, and then we are going to reduce the row, because I'm going to move in the upward direction. So I will subtract the row by 1 and the column I will increment by 1, because here if we are starting from first column, then it has to, we have to start it on the next row, on the upper row we have to start it from the next column. So that means that the column should be incremented but the row should be decremented. All right, we need to reduce the row number by 1 and we need to increase the column number by 1. So this is how this loop is going to work, and then further I'll add the column 1 to it, so that next time it should start from the 3, and row again further will be reduced so that it goes to the upward direction, right? So this is also going to be completed, and this is also going to be completed, and this is also going to be completed. Once you have your loop as 1, which means that loop has run now, it has come to the first position, then what we will do, we will fill up the below portion. So I will again come back to this, I will refill this, all right, and then instead of decrementing the row number, I'm going to increase the row number, and this time again the column will be increased, because column is definitely going to increase, but the major difference is that the row number this time is going to be incremented, so that I can give the movement in the downward direction. This is my idea. Now if let's say user enters here as I said 7, right? So now from where to start? You see that if you enter the 7, then subtract minus, because the next line which you need is it should have a difference of 2. So if you go to the 5 and 3 and then 1, you see that, and the same way if I go in the downward direction, I subtract minus 2 from it. This is what exactly I'm talking about. Let me delete this minus 1. Now if you count these numbers, obviously you will again have the 7 count. So that means 7 times the loop is going to run, but from which row number I will have to start. So in this case, if I take this example, my row number should be 4. And how will you identify? You will simply again use the same function, 7 by 2, you divide it by 7 by 2. You use the int function, integer function, it returns the integer, it is going to remove the decimal. That is why we use it, especially in the dates and the time, it is very useful. Go and watch that video, I was talking about the mod function. You get to see 3 and I'm going to add 1 to it. So this formula is applies to every number. So now you can see that this gives me the 4. It means that I will first start from the 4th row, which is in this table, it is going to be the 4th row. So this 4th row I will choose and I will print here 7 stars, and then we will start moving in the upward direction. That is my idea basically, right? So let's go to the Visual Basic window and let's prepare this. Let me first of all insert a new sheet here. All right, so let's say user wants to write here 9. So how you gonna do that? I go to the developer, Visual Basic, and let me insert the module here. So this is the module, all right, and we're going to start it. The first thing, guys, which I need to do is let me write here the loop exam. Okay, all right. So the first thing which we will do is I'm going to actually write here any number, or maybe you can give it the input box so that user don't have to write anything. So we're going to declare here a number called, let's say, dim number of times. okay, number of times loop, or I can say that loop to be run. That I think that's fine. Loop to run, all right, as long. And how you going to define it? Loop to run, you will put the input box. Input box means you're going to get the input box where user will enter the number. Enter number, let's say. All right. Now this loop we are going to use it. So here I will use another actually to run the loop. I'm going to use another variable which is called, let's say, I as long. All right. So here we're going to write first of all for I equals to 1 2. We need to start it from 1 2, and how many times we need to run depends what the user is going to choose. So this is what we are going to do. All right. And then when the loop is going to run 9 times, I want to display this as 9 times. Okay. So how to display that? We will do one thing. We'll start from the, as I said, if you enter 9, let me show you how it looks like. Let me run this. Look at this. This is called the input box we have created, and you can go there. So if I enter 9 here and I press OK, you see that this loop is going to run 9 times. That's the reason, right? Now the thing is which I want to do is, now guys, in this video, coming back to this, from which particular row number you want to start. That is a very important task. As I said, that first we would like to publish those 9 stars if user is going to enter the 9. So what you need to do is, I'm again going to use one more variable, and let's just declare this one line, and so we can say that row number, let's say, okay, decide row number. I'm just going to write like this, decide underscore row as long. Okay. All right. So now whatever the value user will write in the input box, I will have to divide it by 2. Okay. So this is what I will write, decide row equals to, I'm going to divide this loop to run by 2. All right. And then, as you know, I was talking about the int function. So int function we have here, int is going to give me only the whole number. It is going to remove the decimal, and then I'm going to add 1 to it. Okay. This will actually takes me to the, this will take me to the 5th row. If you remember, if I enter 9, right? 9 means that 4 rows are going to be covered before 9 and 4 rows are going to be covered after 9. Naturally, right? This is not it's not a really big science. I'm just trying to figure out where is the midline, right? So I'm just dividing it. That's it. All right. So now here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this, obviously, this row number. So I'm going to write decide row, which is going to come as, in this case, I guess it's going to come as 5. All right. So let's have a look. And the column number. So for the column number, I'm simply going to write here colnum dot value equals to star. This is what we need. All right. Now, first of all, let us run this and see. And obviously, you will have to declare a column number as well. So let me go to the next line actually, and I'll just declare a column number as long. And the very important thing, you need to start your column number from where? The first time when you start, your column number has to be started from the first, right? And then it should keep moving. So here I'm going to write column number equals to column number plus 1. All right. Now let me delete this, okay, and run the code, and let's see if we are able to publish the 9 stars or not. And that too, the important line is that it should be in the mid of that table. So there we go. All right. So I enter here 9, as you can see. Okay. And now decide row comes out as 5, which means that from the 5th row it will start. So here we have 5th row, and here we have the column number 1, which means that A5. So it is going to print. All right. So I got the X. Very nice. This should not be incremented because this should remain as it is, because I'm going to first cover the 5th row, but the column has to be incremented, obviously. So we're going to increase the column number. Now you see the combination becomes of 5th and the column number 2. So that means B2. There we go, guys. I'm sorry, B5, not B2. So in this way, this will publish these stars 9 times, I guess, because the loop has to run 9 times, right? Because this is what we are using from the input box. So we have a now value of I as 7, 2 more times, and there we go. Done and finish. All right. So here the macro is finished. All right. It looks very easy till now, right? The important point was to how to start, from where to start, because I wanted to start from the mid of it, so I divided it by 2 and I added 1 to it, because obviously when you divide any odd number with the 2, you would get the decimal, and decimal part I don't need that, right? Alright, so now this is done, guys. Now what is the next thing you want? Obviously the next thing is that you want to go to the next upper row, which means that the row number should be reduced, right? This decide row should be decremented. It should be subtracted by 1, because we need to go to the upside now. At the same time, the column needs to be the second, because when you started, you given the column number as 1, right? And one more important thing, if you run this loop, let me just delete this. One thing which you need to understand, that when you're going to run this, let me quickly run this, 9, and see this. Let's just quickly run this. Alright, now see, what is the value of the column number? The value of the column number is 10, right? As you can see, because obviously you are on the 10th column. So the next time when you actually want to start, you got to go back on the second column. So how you actually going to do that? This is again a challenge, right? So what actually I'm going to do is, I'm going to refer one more variable, right? Any variable you declare it, and what it should do is, whenever it prints these these x values 9 times, then the next time when it is going to start, no doubt we are going to reduce the row number by 1, but at the same time this column number should be 2. So what we will do, we will increment that particular variable by 1, and we will define it that that variable is equals to this variable which is called column number, right? So let's go ahead and let's prepare this part. I know it right now, it may not be making so much of sense, obviously, because it's a very complex kind of a loop, but let me just work on this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare here a variable. Let me name it as check as long, okay? And here we are going to write that check is also going to be equals to 1. We are starting from the check as 1, okay? And here, after you finish this for next, what we need to do is, now you see that not only horizontally but also vertically you will have to run this loop 9 times. This is again very important, right? Because first you run this loop 9 times like this, you printed 9 stars, but then that means that, is that mean that your game is over? It's not, right? Because you have to run this loop also, you have to run this loop also, you have to run this loop also, and you have to run this loop as well, and then of course these are also the loops. So it means that you have to actually run this loop 9 times. So what we are going to do, we are going to further add one more loop, the bigger one. So I'm going to write here big loop equals to 1 to, again I'm going to declare it that loop to run, how many times it is supposed to run, so that it should keep running again and again. So basically you're running the loop 9 times within the 9 times, right? So we have to define this big loop also. I just defined it somewhere here, big loop as long. Okay. Now the important part is that once you have your all, these 9 star printed in the very first loop, which is this, you have to go up. So what I'm going to do after this next, when the turn is for the bigger loop, let's just give some indenting. Yeah, this would look great. Okay, so now what you need to do is you need to, in this next, before it goes to the bigger next, right, what we need to do is, I want to say that the column number, the check should be equals to check plus 1. Okay, now remember check has a 1 value, but the moment the first loop is finished, check is going to be incremented by 1, which means 2, and then what I will do, I will say that my column number equals to check, which will make it 2, and that's what we want, because I want to be on the second column, right? Because there is no way of coming back here. You can subtract, let's say if you're on the 9th column, when you printed this, you can subtract 7 from 8, but the point is the next time you got to be on the 3, you know, and then 1. So that is not going to make any sense, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this check. Every time I'm going to increase it by 1, and it keeps on, you know, moving from 1 to 2, 3, 4, and we will use this. All right. What is the next thing we want to do? The next thing we want to do, obviously, I want to decrement the row number. So let me put it in one line. You can use this colon as well, or you can write in the next line as well. That's all up to you. So I'm going to write here decide, which is your row number, right, equals to decide row minus 1. This is how. Let me just enter it so that you should not be confused. But that's the way you can also use, you know, make the best use of your lines. You can save a lot of space actually just writing it in the one line. So now the row is also reduced, and let's now go ahead and let us run this code, and let's see that what is going to happen. Okay. So this is your code, looking pretty cool. And so before I start, I also want to do one thing, just like that, you know, that it should clear everything. So I'm on the sheet 2, select, and cells dot select, and selection dot clear content. All right, so that everything should be clear. There we go. And yeah, so let's start this now. All right, as you can see that everything is clear. All right, there we go. Now check is 1, column number is 1. We want to start from the very first column, obviously, but from where this will decide from where, and at the same time how many times, right? So we are actually using it in the 2 ways. All right, so decide row is coming 1, so it will now start. The loop is going to run first of all 9 times, 1 to 9. This is the first time the loop is running, as you know, and now this code should run 9 times this portion, right? So here I have my decide row as 5, right, coming from here, this. So it is going to be on the 5th row, and the column number is going to be 1, which means that I'm going to be on the A5. And then let's quickly run this. You know that how this is going to work. There we go. There we go. I think this is the last time it works. And yes, now once it has published these X, you see the value of your column number. It's 10, right? And if you see here, it's 5. So I want to go on the upward side. That is why I actually going to minus this. 5 minus 1 will make it 4. So I will be on the upside. And at the same time, because my column is 10, because of this movement, I want to come back to the second column. So that's why I said that this check now should be incremented. The check, this variable. All right. This is nothing. This is just a variable. You can even write your name, right? So now the check is going to be 2, and this is what I'm going to do. Column is now 2. You can see that. And the row is now 4. So the next time when the loop runs, now what will happen? You see this. For I equals to loop run. Now you know that the loop to run is already 9, because this is what you have entered in the input box. So this loop is going to run 9 times, right? So have a look on this. It says that row number is 4 and the column is 2, right? So row number 4 and the column number 2 means that B4 I'm talking about. So there we go. You can see that I have got here X. Perfect. Now again the column has to be incremented, obviously. So we have already got the column number is 2, and it is going to add 1 to it. That will make it 3. So now we should be on which cell? Having a row number 4 and column number 3. Obviously that means that I am now going to be on the C4. There we go, right? So this will also work. Let us just quickly run this. But there is actually a problem in this, which I have just realized. And the problem is the loop is going to run 9 times. But here, when you're moving up, you got to minus 2 from it, isn't it? Because if you run this loop, let's see this. It's running, right? But it has actually gone beyond its reach. This is what we did not want. We wanted to stop here on this H column. Not on the H column, I guess. Yeah, H column, exactly. Right? So this I should be left empty, as we have left the column A4 I'm talking about. So that means the next time when the loop runs, it should be reduced by 2. So this loop underscore to run should be reduced by 2. And now no prizes for guess, because I think I have already explained, right? Where to write this code? Obviously here, because once you have this done, then you would like to reduce it by minus 2, so that the next time the loop run, how many times? 7 times, and then 5 times, and then, you know, so on. That's very interesting. I'm really loving it. Thank you so much for this wonderful question. It's a big challenge actually. Very nice. Good. Keep up such questions. Keep commenting and keep posting such questions so that, you know, we all can be awesome in Excel VBA. Anyways, I just got a little emotional because whenever I see something really very interesting, you know, because I am actually so much in love with this Excel VBA. So I really like, you know, having a good questions. Anyways, let's quickly start the code now and let us see. So I'm going to run this quickly, guys. Again, there we go. We got 9. I'm going to enter here 9. All right, so you already know then what is going to happen, so I will be a little quick. So this is the first time the loop is running. This for next will publish quickly all the values. There we go. Now once we have the 9 values, so you already know that why we are doing this check plus 1, so that, you know, the column which is this right now 10, because obviously it has incremented, it stopped on the 9th, and then the column number, you know, it is incremented by 1, so it has actually, you know, reached to this 10 value. We need to make it back to the, we need to convert it, you know, back to the 2, because I want to start from here. So that is why I'm incrementing this variable. I'm taking this, you know, kind of, you can say that support from this variable. So this is going to be 2, because I've started this variable as 1, and now the column number once again will be 2, which I actually want, right? So now this is a very important line. It is 9, but this time I don't want to run this loop 9 times. I want to run it how many times? 7 times. As you can see, -2 is subtracted. So now when the loop is going to run, it is going to run 7 times, guys. And so there we go. Now you know the row number is going to be 4 from the 5, and the column number is going to be 2 from the 10. And there we go. So let me just quickly run this. And as you can see here, this is going to run, this is going to run, and this is going to run one more time. And now it should go to the next. And there we go. Great, right? Now again, I'm going to increment the check number by 1, because now we want to start from the 3rd column, right? So I incremented this check, and now column number is going to be equals to 3. So you know the column number is 3. Row is further going to be decremented. It is going to be reduced by, you know, 1. So I will be on the 3rd row now. As you can see, row is now 3. And this is again very important. How many times now you want to run the loop? Obviously, I want to run this loop only 5 times, because I want to print only 5 stars, right? As per the pattern. All right, now how many times the loop is going to run? 5 times. There we go, guys. So now here I'm on the row number 3, and the column number is 3. So 3 makes it C3, right? All right, there we go. So this is also done. And yes, there we go. Now again, check plus 1, decide again, you know, now I don't think I have to explain you this. So now this time, how many times the loop has to run? 3 times only, right? So 3 times the loop is going to run. Perfect. There we go. And now you can see that I've got this loop run 1. So this is going to run only 1 time, 1 to 1. All right. And I have got the row number 1. I have got the row number, column number is 5. So there we go. And we got on the top. And I think the macro now should stop actually. Let us see why it is not stopping. All right. So it's still working actually. And okay, so it actually is working. Now look at this. This is again very interesting. It keeps on reducing this loop to run. Now loop to run is -5, because I am actually subtracting here. So it means that it is not stopping. Ideally, it should have stopped when the loop to run variable holds a value called 1. But it is not, because we have simply written here that you keep on running this every time you keep on decrementing this. So now right now I have this -5, because every time, you know, when you actually are on the 1, then 1 minus 2 will make it, you know, -3 and -5 and -7, and it keeps on going like that. So we will have to stop it, this loop. So what I will do, in fact, we don't have to stop it. When this loop to run becomes 1, that means that it would be on the 1st position. Then we need to start again one more loop, which should start from here, and then here, and then go to this row, and then go to this row, right? Column will remain as it is. The row number this time will increment. All right. So here, what we are going to do, you have to use the if function now here. So I guess what we can do, we can use the if function here. Maybe here, I think, before this for loop. So I will write here that if loop to run, right, becomes 1. If it becomes 1, then that means we would be on the top, right? If it is not 1, I would say, then you keep running this entire procedure. I just forgot to write here 1. Okay. Else what you need to do is, I'm going to write here, where we actually going to write the else condition. That's very interesting. We have to see. Else it should maybe we can write here. I think in this next, yeah, here I think we can write here. Else it should go to another macro. So I'm just going to write here ABC. The macro name is ABC. All right. So if the value is 1, then it should go here in the ABC and, you know, do its job. All right. So in the ABC now, what we need to do, let me create one more actually module here, or you can copy and paste the same module there as well. So we're going to write this ABC. Now this time what I need the same macro. I'm going to copy this. I just copy this entire thing and just going to paste it here. All right, and obviously this should not come here, and the macro name should also not come here. Rest everything would work the same way, and this of course you don't want to clear, otherwise everything will be cleared again. This is what we are targeting on the lower portion now, guys. All right. So I declare the same variables again, and that's fine. Input box also it comes again. But the important point is, I guess, when the loop is going to run, then obviously you do not need this if condition here, because that is required only in the first macro. So I just delete this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this portion, I think that the decide row, it should go in the positive direction +1. Rest I think remains as it is. There is no change, because the same pattern is just that we need to go in the downward direction. All right, let's see how it is going to shape up. So let's go back to the module, and from here I'm going to run this. Okay, so let's go ahead and press F8. Next without for. All right, so yeah, so I just forget to write the end if. All right, because every if needs the end if also. So this is how the code is looks like, and I'm going to put little indenting also so that you can have a good idea what is happening here. Yeah, because so we are using 2 loops and if as well. That's a very nice. Now let's see if we can do that or not. So I'm going to run this code again. There we go. Now no error. Finally we sorted it out. Clear content, and there we go. Now you see that I enter here 9. All right, now when you run this, you see that the loop to run is 9, which is obviously not equals to 1. So it will never go in the else mode, right? It will execute this portion, and you know about this portion. This will start from the now 5th row, and it is going to work like this. Let me quickly run this. There we go. There we go. Now again 9 times it has, you know, it has published the values, the stars, so it now going to move in the upward direction. So this is all is happening. You can see that else part is totally skipped, obviously, because loop to run is not 1. So same thing happens. I mean, let us quickly run this. You can see that everything is happening. There we go. There we go. I just want to have a look on this loop to run. The moment it becomes 1, then we will see what exactly is going to happen, right? So there we go. We run this. We run this. Again, this is the last time I'm running this. Let's see. Okay, now you see that the loop to run becomes 1, right? So if it becomes 1, then it goes in the else mode, but there we have a problem because it did not publish this star, right? So I think what we need to do is instead of writing here not equals to, why don't we write here less than 1? Because less than 1 will make it, you know, -2 or -3, whatever it is, and then it should go to this, because I want 1x also to be printed here. That is the point. All right, so now let's go ahead and run the code again. Okay, I'll just let you know about it, what exactly I'm talking about. Rest of the code I think is clear to all of us, because we know that how actually we are playing with this loop. There we go. Only comments may appear, so I think there's a problem in the end sub. Sorry guys, I shouldn't have written that, the end sub twice. All right, so let me just run this again. There we go, 9, and I press OK. Let's go ahead. Now you know that the value the loop to run is 9, so it should be 7, 5 and so on. So let's go ahead and quickly run this. There we go. Oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, you know, it is working actually, you know, but it is working in the downward direction. So actually we are on the wrong module, right? It's not the module. I'm so sorry. I should have actually thought of it. This is the ABC macro. Actually we started right from here, isn't it? All right. Anyways, let me start it again. There we go. It happens, right? That's fine. All right. So now I just entered 9 here and there we go. So it's again, alright, so loop to run is 9 and 9 is not less than 1. So why it is, this is very, let me just see this. Why it is going on the call? If loop to run equals to 9, now 9 is not less than 1. Let me reset the code again. And let's start it again. I enter 9. Alright. Oh yeah, I see. I got the point. Actually, it's going on the else mode. So no, this is not the way. So you should write here not less than, because you know right now 9 is less than 1. It is not true. So if it is not true, that means it should go in the else mode. So let's do one thing, because once it is going to be 1, then you are going to subtract -2 from it. So 1 minus 2 will make it obviously -3, right? So let's do one thing. Why don't we write here that if it is going to be -3, then just skip that part, right? So I'm going to write here -3, isn't it? Okay, now let's run this. I'm trying to think on this, right? I want to give you a kind of practical video, the way I'm thinking right now, you know, so that you can really enjoy this video and you can see how the things are, you know, when we troubleshoot, then how the things happen actually. So sometimes loops are really very complex to make. So there we go. Now what is the value in the loop? It's 9, which is not equals to 3. So it's again going in the else mode. So I think we should have written here not equals to, I beg your pardon. Let me reset the code again. There we go. Now I enter 9, which is not equals to -3. Obviously we know that. So it should work, and as you know, it is now going in the then mode. So here it is going to run. So we're going to have all the x values here. Next. Now the another row number which we should move in the upward direction. So end if. Now there we go. As you can see, again it is going to print this. The loop is going to run 7 times. And again we are going to reduce the loop now, this loop to run by 5. You can see that it is now 5. Alright, further I have reduced the row and the increment in the column. You know that, right? So there we go, guys. And now again one more time, let me quickly run this. There we go. And one more time now it should run. So what is the value in the loop to run? Loop 2 is now 1. So this is the last time it should run, right? There we go. Obviously this is 1 is not equals to -3, so it falls in the true parameter, and yes. So now the loop is supposed to run only one time, and it is now on the row number 1 and the column number 5. Yes, there we go. We got it, guys, right? All right. So now what is the important thing now? Again, now you are going in the next mode. Now what is the value in the loop to run? It is -1, right? So I'm just thinking why it is -1, because 1 minus 2. Oh, I see. All right. So it's actually going to -1. So we can do one thing. We can write, instead of writing here -3, because you're subtracting 2 from it, right? So if you're going to subtract 2 from it, then obviously it is going to be -1. I was trying to add it. So that's stupidity. I'm going to make it -1. All right. So now let's just run this. What is the value in the loop? It is -1. So now it will not execute this part. There we go, guys. Right? So now it will go in the another macro which you have written in the another code where where actually you are incrementing the row number. That's the only thing. Rest all is, you know, it works the same way. So let's have a look here, right? So now here I'm not going to clear anything. I'm on the still on the sheet 2. You don't really have to write this sheet 2. That's fine. All right. Again, we are starting everything in the same way. Again, you have the same pop-up. Just keep, you know, again write here 9. You don't have to actually use this line, but again, I mean, it's there, so that's fine. But you can remove this line. This is not really required. Okay, this line is also I guess not required. Oh yeah, it is required because in the previous code decide row was 1, so again you will have to use this, right? So I think you should keep it like this. So now the decide row is again 1, so the loop will run how many times now, guys? You see that again it is going to run 9 times, and this time it will start from the row number 5, because this is the same formula, right? So this 5 again is going to fill up, which you will not see right now because it is already filled. So it is just going to overwrite it, I believe. As you can see, that is running and it is overwriting all the stars. So that's fine. There we go. Now, what is the next thing we want to do? Again, we want to actually use this check, because we want to again start from the column number 2, but this time in the downward direction. So same thing. The only difference is this loop to run. Now this decide underscore row should be now 6 instead of 4, right? In the previous module, we were actually subtracting -1. So now, if you see that the loop is supposed to run again 7 times, because I have subtracted the same code. I haven't done really a big change. It's just that I have incremented the decide row. So now you know that the decide row is 6 and the column number is 2. So that makes it actually B6, right? So again, we will have the same loop and it is going in this direction. Wow, I think we are true now, guys, right? So next, again it is going to increment the row and it is going to reduce everything, the loop run, and this time again it will run, and let's have a look. Yes, it is working. Let me quickly run this. Let's just not waste our time, and last one more time. There we go. And yes, so here also one more thing. Now once you have this one done, you need to get out of this loop. Otherwise what will happen, you see right now the loop is again -1. So it will keep on running like this, doing nothing, right? Because you are reducing this one again, you're minusing, you're actually subtracting, this 2 from this. So there is no end to it. We will have to put the condition here. So what we will do, again, we will write that the moment the loop becomes your this 1 loop to run equals to 1, then exit the macro, because now your job would be over, because this time this one would be this upper portion is already filled, right? So in this way we can do that. All right, so I guess let me do one thing. Let me quickly run this again, and I believe it has to be when it is going to be equals to 1. No, equals to be 1, it should exit. Or I would say when it is going to be equals to -1, then it should exit, right? Because 1 minus 2 will make it actually -1. All right, so yes, so let's quickly run this loop now, guys. Everything is cleared. As you can see, I entered here 9. This is, I hope, the last time we are running this loop. All right, and there we go. So I'm going to quickly run this. All looks neat and clean. There we go. There we go. Now it is on the another macro, which is module 4, and again I'm going to write here 9. There we go. Now this should also work. All right, so this is not working this time. So what is the challenge? Oh yeah, it's working. I'm so sorry. Actually, it's overwriting the 5th row. I just forgot, right? That's why I was saying that it's 5th row, right? So it's again printing these X. All right, there we go. And now it should go in the 6th row, right? So it's gonna increment this 5. All right, so now we should have it done, and yes, there we go. Let me just run this, and there we go. Yes, now one more time. Let's have a look on the loop to run. What is it? It's 1 actually. So this is the last time it should run. And what is the value? It's -1. So the moment it is -1, yes, it should exit, right? So there we go. End if, and here it's again calling. This is very interesting. It's again calling it. So after it exit, you need to also ensure that the moment it comes back, it should also exit from here actually, right? So what you can do is here you can write exit sub. Okay, because once you have your macro run, which is the ABC macro, you don't want to run the macro further. All right, so let's have a look again. Let me reset the code, and let me quickly run this. There we go. 9, and the loop is not going to form. All right, again 9. I run this. There we go. Okay, now this is done. Now it is -1, I guess. Yes, it is -1. It is going to exit from here and it comes here and again it exit. There we go. Awesome, right? So this is how you can prepare this code. Now I'm not going to leave this code like this. I'm going to now come to the real testing, which is let's create the loop for the 7 guys. Alright, you can create the button here. Well, let's just quickly create the button, right? So you see, you have seen me now how much I thought about it, right? So this is what exactly it happens, right? I didn't want actually want to, you know, upload this video by having no errors, because I thought that, you know, that would not be a justice to this great question, because it is not really so easy that within just one, you know, without thinking so much and without any errors, you can just prepare the code. Well, I can't prepare that, to be very honest. If you can, then I mean nothing like it. But I wanted to actually show you how the challenges comes, you know, so that you can have a good practice on this. So loop exam, yeah, that was the code, right? So I'm gonna run this. There we go. I am gonna enter 5. All right, so let's see now. No F8. There we go. We see, oh wow, this is great, isn't it, guys? Now again I'm gonna write here 5. It should fill up the lower portion. Oh wow, this is great. Now let me tell you one thing which is very important. Now why it published this line first? Because again the same calculation, 5 by 2 plus 1, right? So if I put the break code, I'm just going to take 1 second. Now let's say I write here this. Okay, now you see that the moment I'm going to run this, let's say this time we will write here 13, let's say 13, right? So 13 means that 50% above and 50% below. So that is why we are dividing it by 2. So now the important line is from where it is going to start. It is going to start from 7. Because if it is going to start from the 7th row, then 6 rows above and 6 rows down. So what makes it total? 6 plus 6 plus 1, which is the 7th row, right? So this is how the things are happening. This is why I actually use this formula. So let me quickly click here. There we go. And again 13. And yes. Right, so this is really going very nice. Okay, I want to run it again. Okay, so this is really great stuff. So I guess that's it. We are done with this, and we have really made a very wonderful code. And this is the code actually. All right, let me just maximize the screen. So this is how this code entire looks like, and the next code which I have written here, it's exactly the same. The only thing is here the if condition is changed, right? I can just show you here also, right? This is how the code looks like. I can take back everything in the one line so that you can have a more space to see. So this also can be written with this colon, and this can also be written with the colon, and let me use this, yeah, in this way. I think now you can have a look of this complete code. This is how it looks like, right? And same I can do for you here, this as well. All right, and yeah, that's it. I think you can see the entire content. This is nothing. This is only sheet to select, and you know you've got to clear this, and I can move this line as well. There you go. Yeah, and let me put this. I'm doing this so that you can have a look on the complete. You don't have to pause the video again and again. That is why I'm doing. Otherwise, always give a good space and indenting, you know, so that user should also enjoy our code. So I believe this is done, and yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is the complete code, guys. You can have a look on this code, and you can